What's up everyone? My name's James, and in today's video I want to talk about 4 income streams that almost every Airbnb manager, every rental arbitrager out there for certain is completely just leaving on the table and missing out on. So in this video we're going to dissect what each one of those is and how you can leverage those 4 different potential income streams in your Airbnb business to earn hundreds, if not thousands of dollars in additional income every single month without any additional overhead on top of it, without prospecting for any new clients, and virtually doing almost no additional work for this additional income. Now, I want to really make it clear out at the beginning of this, I'm not saying that you can get these results without putting any work in. What I am saying is that you can do this without putting any additional work in if you are already growing your property management company, because this is something, these are sources of income that you can get from your existing clients. So there's very little additional work that needs to be done in order to generate this additional stream of income. And so in this video, we're going to talk about what those 4 different streams of additional income are, how you can leverage them in your business, and we're also going to talk about the best model to be able to do this. How can you do this consistently and operate your business in a way where you suddenly can earn hundreds, if not thousands of dollars every single time that you bring on a new property. So that every time you bring on a new property, it's not only costing you no money out of your own pocket to bring that property on, but that you can also profit instantly right when you sign the agreement, be in the green, in the black, so to speak, and actually making money on that property before you've ever even taken a single booking. And bear in mind as well, you're doing all of this in a way that it is a complete win-win for the property owner. So I'm going to break all that down in today's video. So to start off with, let's talk about what these 4 different income streams are. Number 1 is your listing setup expense. So this is going to be a listing setup fee for any, getting the furniture for a property, getting in additional decorations for a property. The reality is that a traditional rental arbitrage model means that you're going to rent a property from a property owner. You're going to pay them first and last month's rent, and you're going to pay for the furniture and setting it all up, getting all the furniture, all the decorations you need. That's going to come out of your pocket. Most people that are using the management fee model don't charge additional for this. They just set the property up for the property owner if it needs to be set up, and they don't charge additional for this. The reality is this is a very valuable service to the property owner, and so this can be an additional stream of income. Anytime that you bring a new property on under the management fee model, you can be charging your property owner for setup expenses. So charging them for the actual setup of the property, and charging them obviously for the items that you're using to set it up with, because this is going to allow them to generate additional income from the property, and so that is going to be really beneficial to them, and it's going to be a value-added service that you can obviously charge for just like anything else that you would operate in your business. The second different stream of income is for your actual staging of the property. Now, this is a pretty nominal one-time fee for someone to go in and do a deep cleaning and a staging of the property. You can either do this yourself, or you can have your cleaning team, if you work with a cleaning team or with cleaners, to go in there and do this. And you can obviously charge a markup on it. It's not a huge moneymaker by any means, because it's not a massive expense of time or massive expense that you want to be putting onto your client, but you can actually make a little bit of money, anywhere from $50 to $100 or $200 every single time that you bring on a property, an additional margin for going in, having a cleaner go in and do a deep cleaning of the property to make sure it's ready to start welcoming guests, and staging it prior to photography. Staging your property, doing things like tucking in all the tags, fluffing the pillows, making sure everything looks just right for the moment that photographer comes into the property is really important. Again, that's going to be a huge value add, because it's going to allow your property to get more bookings, which will be more money for your property owner. So it is something they're going to want to invest that money in, and so you should be charging additional money for the setup and staging. Again, traditional rental arbitrage, this is something that you are paying for out of pocket, and that you're just leaving money on the table when you do this, and you're taking a risk by doing it by obviously putting your own cash into it up front. So this is a second stream of income. Now the third stream of income is going to be photography. Photography is absolutely massive. This is something that I recommend charging top dollar for, and you want to be paying top dollar to the best photographer you can find. Now again, that means that your photographer is going to make a good chunk of the money on this, But it also means that you can make, again, a small amount of margin. And when you're bringing on a property, an extra $50 or $200 on top of what you're already making to bring on that property, it's just money in the pocket. So why not be earning just a little bit of additional money by marking up the photography expense? You'll take care of organizing the photographer, giving the photographer all the proper guidelines and systems that they need so that you're still adding value to the equation here, and you can ensure that your property owner is going to get the best possible photos for the listing. And now you can earn a little bit more money. Now, photography is probably the most important thing for optimizing a listing. If your listing is underperforming, good chances are by improving the photography, you would be able to drastically turn that situation around. It is the number one thing that we've seen time and time again to improve the performance of the listing, sometimes by up to 20 or 30%. Now, imagine what that looks like for your property owner. They're going to invest $100, $200, maybe $300 for a top tier photographer and in a big major market into having that photographer come by and get some outstanding photos. And imagine that leads to a 10, a 20, a 30% improvement in their booking, in their listings performance. And that's not uncommon. That's 10% is pretty average. 30% we see all the time. Now that's going to mean an ROI for them in the very first month. It's certainly going to be a very worthwhile investment for them. So that's a third stream of income that you can have coming in. Now, like I mentioned, those three things and this next one are all just additional things that you can be charging your client for, that you are delivering real value to them through doing, and that you're not putting in a bunch of extra work. You're not prospecting for more clients. You're not going and reinventing a wheel. You're not doing this stuff yourself. You can outsource it, and you're still making a decent margin on it. You still have this additional stream of income coming in, and you're doing no extra work to generate those clients. You're just being able to squeeze more juice out of the orange, and by the way, provide a bunch more value while you're doing that. The last one is the listing setup. The listing setup is something that I see everyone, almost everyone across the board is not charging their property owners for this. Now, the reality is you're going to take time and use your expertise to go and set up a listing properly. That's going to likely take you 2 to 4 hours, sometimes even 6 or 8 hours to do it properly, to get that listing set up, get the prices all set and optimized, create the listing description, the headline, put all the photos in the right order, set all the settings properly, integrate it with a channel management software. That's part of your process. All these different things. Now, I highly recommend charging for this service, or at the very least, you can waive the fee for that charge as an additional bonus and incentive for someone to sign up with you and start working with you right away. Now, this is a value-added service. No matter how you slice it, going in and setting this up properly is a value-added service. And from my perspective, the best way that I look at is that the 20% to 30% in management fees that we charge to a property owner for managing their property is a management fee that covers our operating expenses and our operating profit. That's from our day-to-day. The things that we do day-to-day, like organizing cleaners, taking care of the guest communication, keeping the listing optimized. But those upfront investments that we're making are not factored into that 20 or 30% that we're charging property owners. So naturally, we should be charging for those things upfront at the outset. Now again, this is something that adds value to your property owner, because if you have it set up properly and you take the time, you're getting compensated fairly for your time, and you take that time to set up the right listing description, really dial in the headline, set the photos up in just the right order, really maximize the pricing strategy, get it all set up properly, that ultimately is going to lead to a bunch more bookings and a bunch more money for both you and the property owner. So naturally, that's a win-win as well. Now, all of these things can total anywhere from, depending on the amount you're spending on furniture, that being the obvious fairly big variable, everything else outside of that, from the staging to the photography to the listing setup, that can total about $1,000 of additional expenses that you can have for your property owner when they're getting their property set up. Now, that's well over $1,000 of additional value that they're getting from that process, because bear in mind that they're going to get an ROI on that in just a couple of months' time. And now you can suddenly be making a couple $100s of additional income on every single property that you bring on board before you even get it listed. So now you're in the green before you ever get a property listed. I know there's likely to be some difference in opinions on this video. Some people are going to think that you don't want to be charging your property owners that much. Some people are going to think that you should be charging them even more than that. And the reality is that I really fundamentally believe in working with clients who value the work that we put into something. So in my point of view, if I'm going to work with a client, I need them to value the work that I'm doing and have it be fair, have it be win-win. I always want to be a mutually beneficial relationship, and that goes both ways. I'm never going to gouge a client and charge them some exceptionally high rate for a service that isn't adding value to them and try to take advantage of them that way. And on the same token, if I'm doing something and I'm taking my time, I'm creating value for them, I expect to be fairly compensated for that. So these, like I said, are 4 different ways that you can generate additional income every single time that you bring on a new property. Now, this is going to equate to, hundreds, like I said, if not maybe about $1,000 of additional margin every single time you bring on a property. It's going to allow you to scale that much quicker. It's going to allow you to do that much better of a job. And quite frankly, it's going to help you to self-select the property owners that you want to work with, because the people that aren't willing to pay for what is valuable and actually, pay top dollar for a top dollar service probably aren't the clients that you want to be working with in the first place. Now, the last thing I want to touch on is the best model to be able to use in your business overall to really capture this and really capitalize on it. Now, with rental arbitrage, the challenge is that you are paying a fixed monthly rent and it's up to you to furnish the property. So if you want to incorporate these things into your property management model with rental arbitrage, it's going to be really, really tough to do that. The best model to incorporate these into is something I call the management fee model. If you've checked out other videos on this channel, you'll be very, very familiar with exactly what that is. It's where you charge a percentage of the overall revenue to the client in exchange for your management services. So typically, like I said, that's anywhere from 20 to 30% of the overall revenue for a property. And this means that you're not paying money out of pocket for rent, for furniture. You're able to make money, like we just talked about all through this video, whenever you bring any property on board. So that's a huge advantage over the rental arbitrage model, because you're actually making money when you bring on new properties. You can scale your business at whatever rate you're able to. You're not limited by having not enough cash on hand to scale the way you would be with rental arbitrage, and you have way less risk, way less overhead every single month. And so it's a lot more flexible business model, and it's very easy to put the systems in place to automate all the day-to-day operations in the business and have things run in a streamlined fashion. Now, if you're interested in learning more about the specifics of this model, really diving into all of it, then check out the link in the description below that I left for you guys for a free training. It's about a 2-hour-long training. We're really going to go into detail. So make sure you set the time aside, register for that training. Like I said, it's completely free, and it's where I basically break down the step-by-step, every single thing that I've done to be able to rapidly scale my business managing properties on Airbnb. And we've worked with, at this point, just over 400 clients all over the world. So all using these strategies, they work, they're bulletproof, but the problem is that you actually have to implement them, right? Like anything, like I said, there's no silver bullet, there's no something for nothing, there's no magic pill here. So if you're interested in actually doing the work, you're interested in checking this out and learning more about it, then I highly recommend that you check out the link in the description down below. If you're a host who is just starting out and you want to improve your hosting and learn how to perform at a really high level, then I'll leave another link in the description to a free training that I also put together for Airbnb hosts who want to improve the performance of their listing overall. So if this has been helpful, please do take the time, take a quick second and just click the thumbs up button on this video. Just give it a like there. It really does help me out a whole bunch with the YouTube algorithm. So I'd really appreciate it if you would just click the like button there and give me a like on the video if you found this valuable. If you want more Airbnb related content and more content about how to scale your Airbnb business and all the different stuff that's going on in the world of Airbnb, then consider subscribing to the channel, because we post new videos twice every single week, all focused around Airbnb, managing properties on Airbnb. And again, anything that's in this video that you have questions about, please do just leave a question in the comment section there. I'd love to answer those in the comments or just in an upcoming video here. So hopefully you've gotten a lot out of this video, and hopefully you can use it to make some more money in your business over the next couple months and couple years ahead of us. So I look forward to seeing you in the next video, and until then, happy hosting.